Hey everyone, it's Mike Andes, and you're listening to the Business Bootcamp Podcast. A big thank you to today's sponsor, which is Gusto. If you haven't already, go to gusto.com/bootcamp. If you do any sort of payroll and you want to get away from writing out checks on every Friday, definitely want to check out Gusto because you can have an online mobile app for your employees to clock in and out of and then write checks to them virtually, ACH, directly into their bank account, all automated. So check it out today. Go to gusto.com/bootcamp and try it out for free for 90 days.
This is going to be tough because I actually really like Gary Vaynerchuk, but I think he's lost touch. And I'm not making this video because I'm happy or gleeful of the fact that Gary Vaynerchuk has lost his touch with small businesses and the population at large. I'm going to go over 3 things that prove this point in my mind, that over the past 12 to 16 months, GARYVEE, that has millions of followers and is followed by many, has really lost his way in my mind. And not saying he's a bad person. I don't think he's a bad person at all. I really, really, really like him. And I've learned a lot from Gary Vaynerchuk. In fact, I would have to give him a lot of credit as to all the stuff that I've focused on in terms of media, producing a media company, hiring people around my personal brand. A lot of that, honestly, I have to give credit to Gary. However, I think over the past year, there's been 3 things that have really made him lose touch. The first being NFTs, non-fungible tokens. Now, I want to say it's really difficult to listen and to have someone say that they made $90 million, which Gary Vaynerchuk has said he's made $90 million off of VeeFriends, which is his NFT project. For them to see someone that makes $90 million on the project, but then say in the same breath that 99% of NFT projects will go to zero, I really feel like there is some hypocrisy there. Because yes, a lot of his NFTs come with utility in terms of access to a conference, etc. However, the majority of people buying VeeFriends believe that the value of that VeeFriend will go up, and they do not have any interest in going to a conference or having those access type things that he is selling with them. But the bottom line is I really do believe in NFTs. I believe NFTs technology will be here forever. It is the future. Buying a house, signing a contract, any sort of legal document, any sort of ticket or access to conferences and events will all be done on the blockchain with NFTs in the future. I believe that. But it's kind of like AMC and it's kind of like GameStop. Right now there's people buying the hype of NFTs, the technology, the same way that people bought the hype of AMC and GameStop and now are 90% down on their portfolio because they went all in on AMC, all in on GameStop, and it hurt a lot of people. And what's going to happen as the NFT space will collapse, it will absolutely collapse. He's right about that. As it collapses, what's going to happen is people are going to say, well, then NFTs are just garbage. And that's not true. The technology is right. The same way that people will give up on the stock market and investing after they lose a bunch of money on AMC and GameStop and these other meme tokens, they're going to lose faith in the technology. They're going to lose faith the same way that GameStop and AMC investors lost faith in investing in the stock market, and so that Citadel and all these people are against them, and maybe they were, but they were jaded in the fact that they're not going to invest in the stock market anymore because it's all rigged against them. And people are going to do the same thing with NFTs because 99% of them will go to zero. But the bottom line is this. The reason I love Gary Vaynerchuk is his connection with small business. That's what made him who he is. Him growing up inside of his father's wine company, wine store, is what made him have the connection with small business owners in my mind that he's had for so long. But this NFT thing, he needs to realize that such a small, tiny percentage of people actually own NFTs. And so by getting so deep and involved in this NFT space, he's not doing it for views. If you look at his videos that have the least amount of views, they're usually around NFTs because there's such a small percentage of people that are in the NFT space. And for everyone that's going to jump in and say, oh, well, he's just, he's ahead of his times and just wait for 10 or 15 years. You're right. You will be right. In 10 or 15 years, NFTs will be a bigger part of our economy. People will be used to them. People will trade on them. The blockchain will be a real thing. It will be more mainstream. However, you're alienating the people that are listening to your content for small business advice, and all they're getting is NFT jargon. All they're getting is about the next CryptoPunk and the Bored Apes, and people are just trying to make ends meet in their small business. And they don't have $40,000 to go buy the cheapest VFriend. You're alienating a massive amount of people in your audience that are just trying to make the next $100, $200, $300 in their small business. They're trying to make payroll, not buy the next $500,000 NFT. And for those of you that think I'm just like a boomer talking that NFTs are the way of the future and all the rest of it, again, I believe in the technology. However, I want you to also go back 3 to 4 years ago into Gary Vaynerchuk's content, and you'll hear him talking about the next big thing being what? Audio. The next big thing being the voice. People talking on to Alexa. And all of this, they're just around the corner. I'm jumping in now. I'm investing in all these companies because it's about to take over the world. And guess what? We're a good 5 to 10 years out from that actually being taking place. Yes, Alexa's taken place. I still don't use Siri on my cell phone. I still don't. It's still faster to text. I don't believe that his predictions 3 to 4 years ago came about because he believed it was right on the edge. He believed VR is still 5 to 10 years out, which I believe. But he was saying, hey, voice is right around the corner. You've got to have an Alexa skill. You've got to be making, a podcast. And I believe podcasts are big. That's great. That's fine. But look at what's happened with Alexa. Alexa.com just got shut down. I'm not saying that it's going away. I do believe in voice in the future, but the technology was not anywhere close to what he was saying. And I believe the same thing is true with NFTs. People buying now are going to get burned massively because the technology is great. It will work in the long run, but it's 15, 20 years from now when it'll become actually a good measure of value, and it'll be a good storehold, potentially a place to invest. But the people buying VFriends, the people buying 99% of NFTs right now, which by the way is a very, very small population of people, they're buying it for the quick gain. They're buying it for the money. They are buying it for as an investment, and 99% of those people will be scammed. They will lose money. The second reason why I believe Gary Vaynerchuk has lost a lot of connection, a lot of touch with the small business community is because all he talks to is influencers that have millions of followers and entertainers and rappers and people that have massive followings, when he doesn't realize that the millions of small business owners in America don't have time to have a massive following on social media. And let's just step back for a moment. You say, well, that's what he's saying they should do. They should go make content. They should become a social media influencer. They should create content. I agree with that. But if you're doing septic systems, 1 out of 1,000 of them cleaning septic systems is going to even have the personality to be able to create content. They're not going to have the ability to do it. So you're talking to such a small, finite number of people, and the people that are on the podcast, the people that he is interviewing and talking to all the time, they all have massive audiences. They're all thinking about the next NFT project because they have a massive following. When 99.9999% of the universe could make an NFT project tomorrow and it would be worth absolutely nothing because they don't have millions of followers. And I'm not saying that that's wrong. I'm not saying that's really cool to see great people on a podcast and be able to learn from them and hear about things that are going to come in the future. Or look up to people who have millions and millions of YouTube followers and literally their NFT in the first day makes 10, 20, 30 million dollars, or the fact that they drop a product and people just buy it up because of their name. Most people in the small business community do not have that. And should they be trying to get to that? Yes. Maybe in 5 or 10 years they're going to build a media team. They're going to create content. They're going to get better behind a camera. They're going to get better behind a microphone, like I've been trying to do over the past 5 to 6 years. However, in the meantime, they're struggling to make payroll. They're struggling to find employees right now. They're struggling with a collapsing market in the form of the labor crisis and the labor shortage. They're also dealing with the fact that we have a backup of every single good and commodity in terms of the supply chain. That's the things that could really help the majority of the audience. I would love to see a video from Gary Vaynerchuk talking about how to deal with the supply chain and how to take advantage of it. I'd love to see how to deal with this labor shortage and what you can do in your business to actually move the needle for a small business. Not make videos on Snapchat. Like, make videos on TikTok. Yes, I agree with you in the long term, but it's a very long-term game. And for most small business owners, we just need to get through this week. We're struggling to make payroll. We can't think about TikTok and the followers that are going to come in 5 years and how that might pay off in a brand deal down the road. That is such a small percentage of people. The majority of small businesses in America are built around like services, like on a home improvement, like landscapers, people that build things, and they don't have the personality or the knowledge or the desire to have a big following on Twitter, a big following on YouTube. They just want to provide for their families, and they don't want to have any sort of social presence, and that's okay. And I think that, yes, we got to adapt to the new, and I agree with all of that. But I think he's losing his way and losing his touch with small businesses that he could be having a massive impact on, simply because the only people he hangs around all the time, he's getting in the echo chamber of people that already have millions of subscribers, millions of followers, and 99.999999% of people will never get to that place. And so the only advice we hear is to people that already have a massive following. The third reason why I think Gary Vaynerchuk has lost his touch with small business is because of VaynerMedia. VaynerMedia has gotten much, much bigger. And that's fantastic. I'm glad he's building a massive company. But the problem is, when he talks about marketing, when he talks about creating media teams around a small business and creating a team of videographers and people producing content for people, the reason he is because most of his day, all of the clients at VaynerMedia are massive companies. The ones that actually work with VaynerMedia and not Sasha Group, which is the smaller kind of medium-sized firms that he'll work with. But if you're actually working with VaynerMedia and have any access to Gary whatsoever, you are a Fortune 500 company. You are a massive, multi-billion-dollar business, and the way that you look at marketing is totally different, because you are going to be able to play the long-term game of branding. Whereas for most small businesses they don't have a bunch of money to burn. They don't have millions of dollars to spend on a retainer to hire people like VaynerMedia, and they actually have to produce the content themselves. They've got to focus most of their time, energy, and money when it comes to marketing on direct response marketing. They have $1,000. They've got to go get door hangers and knock on doors. I would love for Gary Vaynerchuk to go get door hangers and talk about how to grow a small business again. I'd love for him to see how to sell someone on a contract, how to explain the sales process and go over the systems that run a small business. The same way that when he sat inside of a wine store, he said he would see the way that people walked in the store and see where he should be placing all of the different types of wines that he needed to sell, and then positioning everything. Like, that's merchandising. That's what small business owners need to hear. We don't need to hear about the next NFT project, or that the Nelk brothers are thinking about dropping their next, cryptocurrency. It's not going to change the lives of these small business owners that drastically need the help of someone like Gary that could help him so much. And he has helped me so much in terms of media and figuring out the social media game and making it into a business and making it where I can impact more people's lives. I am eternally grateful for that. But I truly believe he's losing his way right now. And for that, I just don't like it. I'd love to see GARYVEE. I like to see GARYVEE talking to small business owners. And you say, well, he's grown up. He's a big business now. That's not going to happen anymore. But the content, the value is there. And what he does on a big scale could be taken down to help the masses of people that actually need the help. Not just the 0.11% of influencers, very successful multi-million-dollar companies, and people that already have it all together and are just trying to make the next step in their career. What about the guy just starting out? What about the small business that's struggling to make payroll, struggling to take that $1,000 and start their business? I'd love to see the old Gary back again.